the world. We're gonna take on the world. Standing up tall. We gotta make it our own. No waiting around. Winners would never look down. No one can stop us, we got it. The future is right in our hands. Give it 100%. We're gonna take on the world. Yeah, we gotta move. Speaking the truth. Yeah, paying our dues. We making the news. Yeah, we hitting the roof. No, we don't wanna lose. Climbing and shaking the walls. We gotta break all the rules. We're gonna take on the world. 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 Feeling the kid.
Hello everyone, my name is Nilesh Mathure and thanks for joining me on the live today. So for those who don't know me, I'm one of the co-founders of SaaS Tribe, and SaaS Tribe is a community for discussing mostly premium SaaS tools. So we don't really talk about everything which is on lifetime deal being offered, but we do discuss some certain type of deals, and especially keeping in mind some of the quality of the tools and keeping in mind the interest of our community members. So thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Sellix. So Selix is a tool which is like a digital sales platform, typically equivalent to, if you had to compare, nowhere close, but maybe like the Shopify for digital goods. And what's unique thing about Selix is it has been around for some time. Not exactly sure how many years, but it was on Crunchbase. It shows it was registered around 2020 and picked up quite a bit around a certain type of user base. So curious to see why it is on Appsumo, and we'll also see who's using Selix. So it is an interesting platform. Not necessarily I'll be able to go in deep dive into some of the features today, but I want to talk a little bit about where I've seen Selix being used the most. So certainly a little bit curious about why it is on Appsumo, first of all, and we'll also look at why it is on. So let me just say, can you hear me, guys? If if anybody's here listening, more than welcome to just quickly go ahead and give me a thumbs up. So, okay. 1 second here. Oh, hey, hi, Aditya. Thanks for commenting there. I think, can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Hi, Pamela. How are you doing? Thanks for joining in, guys. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Pamela, Aditya is saying, yes, we can hear you loud and clear. That's great. Thank you so much for confirming, Aditya. Hey, hi, Cesar. How are you doing? What is Sellix for? So, Sellix is like you can sell any type of a digital product, right? So it could be anything from, could be a plugin you're selling, or could be a service you're selling, a productized service you're selling, like, a service which you have sort of like productized, right? Like what I mean by that is like if you have like a fixed fee type of a website offering which you want to sell, you could do that. You could sell ebooks, anything digital you can sell. They allow the cloud storage and things like that. So sort of like I would say, I don't know if you can sell any physical products. I don't think so, but let me have a look. I haven't actually looked into the platform itself. I doubt I'm going to look into it, but it's like between, I would say, Gumroad and Shopify, but includes all the crypto payments and all types of payments. And, it has got some really, really good features around crypto. And that's why probably it attracts a certain level of crowd, certain type of crowd, which I'm going to talk a little bit about as well. So thanks, guys, for confirming, and thanks for joining in. So Sellix is, to put it mildly, a more popular in sort of like, I would say, the borderline cyber criminal world, like the dark web type of world. And I don't know why. I don't know if what is the intention of the founders, but I've also seen a lot of sites using pirated software, cracked software, GPL type of WordPress plugins, which people are trying to sell illegally, or per site installation. All that is sold through Sellix platform, which is what made me more curious about looking into it a little bit more. And I thought maybe things have changed. But it doesn't look like it. I mean, it seems more and more sites have been using Sellix, are typically selling something which is illegal. Now, they might actually have a lot of legitimate customers. I'm not saying no. I'm sure it's popular amongst gamers, possibly popular among various Discord groups as well, selling certain type of digital products. But it is awfully a lot more popular among people who are selling sort of like, pirated Windows copies, or still selling like Elementor site licenses and WordPress plugins and themes from Envato and stuff illegally, right? Like they're not licensed to sell those, but they're just using Sellix as a platform and selling them. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I came across basically a blog on Sellix's website, and they have been transparent about some of they have published a security report recently. I think it's about a couple of months old, and they published a security report on their site. It seems like they are taking steps where they have closed shops which are doing something illegal, but they seem to be quite a lot more available as well. And I don't know what they're doing about that. And if I can find them, I'm pretty sure they know about it, and I'm just curious to understand why they have kept these illegal shops running. I mean, are they paying them a lot of money for them to be able to take that risk, or they're just not smart enough to not find these shops? I mean, but it's all public knowledge. It's all on, if you do a quick search on Google. So I'm a little bit confused around what the founders are trying to do. I mean, are you trying to enable a legitimate creator community, founders community to sell digital products based on your platform? Or are you sort of encouraging and happy with the revenue from people using your platform to sell stuff illegally? Right, so you could either fall in one of those categories. You can't be in both, and then expect that legitimate business owners will adopt your platform. That's what I'm confused about. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So 1 second here. All right. Okay. So, excuse me. Just 1 second. All right. So let me just share my screen here. Please give me a moment. All right. I hope you can see my screen. So this is a blog I came across, and Sellix has been very transparent about it. They published this blog around February timeframe. So this is an annual security report. I suggest you read it. So they have made a lot of interesting, they've provided a lot of interesting numbers here. So you can see in terms of how popular this platform is, but it also raises certain type of security questions around who is using those platform and what's exactly going on, right? So there are some interesting numbers which are published. So first of all, what is Selix? From selling, delivering, marketing to analytics, Selix is a one-stop shop, one-stop platform. That's how they're marketing themselves, basically to sell your digital products successfully, right? So I don't believe you can sell any type of physical goods, which is fine. And then we can come into their security report a little bit. So they're talking a little bit about fraud prevention in terms of the number of transactions that were blocked or flagged. And those are some decent numbers. I mean, probably not as big as, Gumroad or Shopify, but those are in a different category. Selix is still big. Like, it is quite popular platform. It is quite used. What I do want to find out is it used by legitimate businesses, and who's using it, right? I mean, so if you're such a big platform, you're doing blocking. These are the number of transactions you're blocking, right? And 3 million plus potentially fraudulent orders, right? That's quite a staggering number. So imagine the number of legitimate transactions which are taking place, right? That's quite a lot. And are you not able to flag some of the people who are selling, crack software or illegal licenses of WordPress plugins? Is you're not able to track all that? I mean, it's a little bit strange, right? Because this is all available in the public domain. Let me show you what I mean. So Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, what's going on here? Okay, let me 1 second. All right, so let me show you. All right, so this is one of the shops. This is based on Sellix. So if you can see here, this is e-commerce solution powered by Sellix. And these guys are selling anything from, Visual Studio Enterprise to Disney Parks, Disney Plus private access to Windows Server 2022 for $5, right? And like from anybody who's aware of software licensing would know that this is all illegal, right? This is all some sort of like in violation of laws in any civilized country, right? So Adobe Creative Cloud, there is like some Azure panel for 100, like all kinds of stuff, right? Like Canva Lifetime Pro for 4. There is no Canva Lifetime Pro. And what would happen is typically when you buy from such a shop, you would eventually, your account would close down, and the shop would probably be closed down, and people will run away with your money, right? So again, this is all illegal stuff, powered by Selix, and I'm not sure why they haven't done anything, right? One of the biggest sites here on Selix is crack.io, right? So this is the site which is doing all sorts of illegal stuff, all sorts of like software, and apparently they are a big customer of Selix, right? So how do you know if they're using Selix? So let me just show you here. Okay. So this is what they're using. They're using AT-Shop, Selix, and Shopee. All right. So this is like a really big illegal, like, cyber criminals using this site for all sorts of crack software, null software, scripts, credit card information, you name it, right? Like all sorts of illegal activities going on here. And Selix powering these doesn't look good, right? So my question is, would you use something like this if you're running a legitimate business, right? I mean, I wish Appsumo or the Sellix team would have done some sort of a due diligence and not allow this kind of marketplaces or dark web type of marketplaces where you can buy credit card numbers and identity. These are the things which shouldn't be powered by Selix, and these are the things as tools which shouldn't be marketed to entrepreneurs or anybody who is buying tools through Appsumo, right? This is a very risky thing. I just think a matter of time when before Selix actually gets a legal notice served or gets some sort of a legal action taken against them, and the whole platform gets taken down, right? It could happen. I'm not a legal expert, but what I'm seeing here is Selix allowing these kinds of sites to use their platform and profit from selling illegal software, and then in turn Selix is profiting, and now Appsumo is profiting from selling Selix. So again, I would expect it to be a little bit more cleaner and not support such platforms unless they come clean and promise to clean up this thing. Now, Selix might be a good platform from its capabilities perspective. We can get into that later, but I would expect that they clean up this mess ahead of time before they even market it to legitimate type of owners, right? So, okay, 1 second. Yes, so Joe is saying this one worries me for, okay, 1 second. Hi, Joe, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. If you would like to come and join live, you're more than welcome to. So let me know, Joe. You're more than welcome to always. Okay, 1 second. All right. Joe's saying this one worries me, okay? Yeah, this one worries me for brand reputation. Absolutely, Joe. I just think that if you have legitimate customers if they do a sort of like anything, do a search, and if they read more about Sellix or in some way, and they associate your brand with somebody like crack.io or the sweet shop or whatever, right? Like anybody who's doing any type of illegal, it would be really, it feels like mega cloud storage. There is a lot of illegal use, but they also advertise as legit storage. Absolutely. That's a very good point. Actually, couldn't have put myself better. So who said that? Yes, Pamela, you are absolutely right. It does have that kind of a feeling where, it has a legitimate, it is advertised for all sorts of legitimate stuff, but then behind the scene, it is doing all sorts of illegal stuff, right? Like which is kind of worrying, because once it's taken down, right? Like, I mean, and if you were ever on Mega and with terabytes and terabytes of cloud storage, it could be a problem, because then you will have to take all that data back and migrate it somewhere else, which could be a hassle, right? It's never a good sign. I think once you store it somewhere, you want to sort of like never look at it again until you really, really need it, right? So again, maybe I don't know if it is going to be as risky from a Selix perspective, but that brings me going back into the blog which they have published on their website. And they have actually, on the one side, yes, they have all these illegal sites using them, and I'm not sure if they have legitimately not been able to find them or they just decided to profit from them, but seems like a significant chunk of business for them, right? So Appsumo deals, as always, is going to be like a one-time deal, so which is good, but a lot of their money is coming from these type of big, illegal activities. So I'm not sure how that's all going to work and how long they are going to be around. But going back to their blog, so let me go back to my screen here. All right, so going back to the blog, so these are some of the numbers they have published. And if you look at these numbers, they're quite big numbers, right? There are 33,700 plus disputes through PayPal were opened in 21-22. 15,800 plus were resolved in the business favor with our order information provided to businesses. 56,000 plus unique customer details added to a shared business blacklist for known fraudulent customers and chargebackers. And you imagine like 56,000 plus unique customer details were added. So I'm not sure if these are numbers where if users were stolen identities, and I'm not sure, but it has certainly attracted a type of user base which is involved in not just selling illegal and pirated software, but it is also attracting a user base which is trying to do fraudulent transactions. So both from a buyer and seller perspective, these are some interesting numbers. The platform compliance. Now there is going to be some interesting numbers here as well. So they're talking about 47,000 plus products were taken down due to violations of our code of conduct, selling policies, and copyright infringements, right? Which is great, but that's a staggering number again. I don't know how that compares to like something like Etsy or Shopify or Gumroad. We'll have to see, but those are some big numbers. So they must be doing a lot of volume. And if 47,000 products have been taken down, I'm pretty sure there are like 4,070,700,000 products still online, right? If you look at some of the illegal stuff who's being sold on Sellix. I showed one of the sites to you. So 1,800 plus unique businesses were terminated by our automated systems. That's interesting. So they've terminated about 1,800 systems, but there are still thousands of users out there who are using it, right? So let me go back into the... Okay, so let me go... All right. So thanks, Aditya. So valuable insights. Aditya saying valuable insights in relation. Unfortunately, got to head out. We'll watch the recording. Cheers. So thanks, Aditya, for joining in, and welcome to watch the recording. And if not, we'll catch up on another live. So thanks for tuning in. So going back into these numbers, 90 plus businesses were suspended, banned. That's quite a low number, I think, considering there is quite a few in this is all on Google search, right? This is all on SEMrush. I mean, if you run check on analytics on their domain, you'll see quite a lot of like 404 links as well. Like they have shut a lot of shops down, but there is like more and more coming up. So I'm not sure, because they're accepting crypto, because they're allowing a lot of different types of payments, maybe it's ease of use. It is attracting a certain type of crowd, which unfortunately is clearly believing in sort of a violation of all types of legality, right? So 10 plus businesses were warned and striked. So I think these are very low numbers. I can show 10 sites which are using Selix illegally right now. Selling illegally right now using Selix. So Selix should, maybe give me, a bounty award or something, right? So because literally, like you can find it, and they could award a bounty to themselves if they do a quick Google search. But there's quite a few websites still using it. So information request, right? So there is certain things. So throughout 21-22, Selix has received 10 law enforcement requests for information of businesses powered by Selix, right? We objected to 7. That's 70% of the request. So which 7 businesses did they object to? Did they object to crack.io, or did they object to businesses which were selling pirated copies? And because of their location, does it give them the power to obstruct legitimate law enforcement sort of request? I mean, I'm just curious to find out if they were received 10 law and obviously they are on the radar for sort of like, powering illegal activities, right? Illegal in places like, at least where most of the civilized world is, right? So, and I believe they are based in Italy. So I'm sure there are strict piracy laws in copyright violation laws and things of that nature there as well. So I don't know why they have objected to those and what are some of the powers they have, but it's interesting that they actually have received 10 law enforcement requests, right? So they're obviously on the radar for any type of a lot of illegal activities that they are powering, right? So international governmental authorities should use the mutual legal assistance treaty request or letters rogatory process to seek businesses information from Sellix. Sellix will review and respond to correctly submitted preservation request while the MLAT or letters rogatory process is underway. Sellix will not disclose business information to any third party without being compelled to the fullest extent of the law as outlined in a request for information policy. So this is an interesting line, and they're saying basically that we will not disclose business information to any third party without being compelled to the fullest extent of law. Okay, so this can work in two ways. As somebody who respects, I think, privacy laws and things of that nature, it is a really good thing. At the same time, for a legitimate, a request from a third party, I'm not sure, if they are protecting sites like the one which I just showed earlier, or are they protecting sort of like rogue actors? I'm not sure, right? Because maybe these sites are paying them a lot of money. I don't know. This is just speculation. So hopefully the founders go ahead and clarify this a bit on Appsumo. But for now, it's absolutely just a little bit shady and sketchy in terms of what they are allowing, right? So again, hats off for publishing this report, but it also raises some further doubts, right? So account safety. So again, I won't go into all these details here, but here are some of our appeal analytics, right? So there are 3,400 plus review disputes were approved, over 150,000 plus global reviews for businesses powered by Selix, 220 disputed reviews. Our team took an average 13 hours to review the appeal of each dispute. 11 businesses were banned from disputing reviews due to abusing our dispute appeal system. Okay. So they've been very transparent in terms of publishing these numbers here. Okay. Our customers have seen our abuse team convert to risk operations for the past few months. We made this change to ensure that we are adequately protecting any level of risk towards the Selix platform. Additionally, our risk operations team members handle abuse reports according to our business code of conduct and terms of service. So we'll have to read those, but they also have some account deletions, right? So 530 plus processed business account deletions, 340 processed user account deletions, and 55 plus pending requests for account deletions, right? So this is, again, could be based on customers leaving, and for what reasons I don't know, but there are certain copyright infringement, right? Our philosophy of revolving and around stolen or copyright protected products at Selix is simple: they aren't allowed. This is really good sentence, right? This is their policy around anybody infringing on copyright, right? Then why are you allowing these shops to operate openly and powered by Selix, right? So that I don't know, but their official policy is such that yes, it's simply not allowed, right? Any type of copyright infringement. So which is good, but again, it's still being allowed in openly. So let's go back into Selix is committed to ensuring that goods or services hosted or listed on our platform do not violate or infringe on anyone's intellectual property copyright. Great. That's the official stand. That's how it should be, right? For any legitimate business. Great work in terms of putting that statement out there. Really bad when it comes to actually implementing it, right? So if you're not eating your own dog food, it doesn't work, right? So yes, you have a policy, but you also have shops which are openly violating this policy, and you have allowed them to operate it for the longest possible time. If I can detect it, I think you should be able to detect it as well. And I don't know why you haven't. So are you profiting from it? Or is it just for the sake of saying it, but the actual stance is different? That's something which would need to be clarified with the founders of Sellix. Okay. So please note that only the copyright owner or their authorized representative may file a report of copyright infringement. We regularly provide the rights owner's names, your email, and the details of your report to the person who posted the content you are reporting. In 2021-22, we saw less than 20 legitimate requests for copyright takedowns, and we complied with them all. Great. Our risk operations team also investigates reports internally to ensure that stolen content isn't promoted or hosted through our platform. Okay, great. So they're saying on one hand, they have a risk operations team. It also investigates reports internally. That's a report if somebody has actually requested for copyright takedowns. Okay, but what about doing your due diligence to make sure that you are committing to ensuring that goods or services hosted and listed on platform do not violate, right? So this, one second here. All right, just one second. Okay, so only the copyright owner of their authorized representative may file a report on copyright, right? So these are some really interesting points they are making. And then at the same time, it also sort of like, defeats the purpose if you don't act on it, right? So okay, and then we have going beyond our platform security report. So again, they have like API request, web app, right? So there are some interesting numbers around web apps as well. They're getting a lot of DDoS attacks, right? So if you don't know what is DDoS, those are distributed denial of service attacks. Basically, layer 7 is for those who are not familiar. So my background and my brother's background is basically network and network security and enterprise collaboration, right? So layer 7 is like if you look at the 7 layer model, layer 7 is basically the application layer, right? So that's where they're getting a lot of distributed denial of service attacks, as in so many requests for every second that the infrastructure might not be able to handle it, right? So they must have a pretty scalable type of infrastructure, because the kind of crowd they're attracting, it's also receiving a lot of DDoS attacks. Obviously, if there are shops using stuff like cracked and nulled, and shops powered by sort of like cyber criminals, and if Selix shuts them down, they could also be doing a lot of attacks against Selix web applications, right? So there's quite a lot of numbers here, and you can read that if that's an area of your interest. Okay, so they're talking a little bit about with here, so some interesting information again. Okay, so let me see. Give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, so they're saying with Selix, entrepreneurs can deliver products more effectively, connect powerful software tools and services for growth, and offer international support to customers, all within a secure environment, right? So again, to sell all types of digital goods and not just files, We can handle videos, serials, dynamics, service subscriptions, and more. Accept popular cryptocurrencies in minutes, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum. So there's quite a lot of futuristic things which they are doing. But again, it can also attract a kind of people who don't want any type of transactional trace, or want to do transactions completely anonymously, like using Monero, as someone commented the other day. So a lot of technology and sophistication can also appeal to cyber criminals based on what you're supporting, right? So again, good and bad. But Selix offers integrations with Google Analytics, Scriptchat, Discord, much more innovative softwares. Absolutely, right? So some good points here. With that, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen. So, oh, hey, Sajwal is here. Hey, Sajwal, how are you doing? Sorry, I missed you there. Exactly what I was thinking, but also wouldn't trust Mega with any real useful file. Yes, true. Sajwal, I mean, with Mega, of course, there was a lot of piracy involved, and that is something which went against it, right? It became super popular amongst, so there might be legitimate users, right? And that calls for the question that, yes, maybe Selix has some legitimate use cases. Maybe they actually have a very powerful platform. But what if they are not using, what if somebody goes after them legally? What are you going to do? And if you're using it, right? Like, everybody is going to suffer at some stage if they're not removing some of these illegal online stores from their platform. Sorry. So do read that blog. I will post a link in the chat as well. It's on the Selix website. The good thing is they are transparent about it. The bad thing is there are some points there which can be really shocking, those numbers, and what kind of crowd it is attracting, right? So do you want people to try to use like stolen identities and stuff like that to buy something from your shop based on Selix? I wouldn't try it. It would be a hassle. If somebody goes through like thousands of transactions to just test credit cards or something like that, and if it goes through, then it could be a massive cost for business, right? So yes, from a buyer and seller perspective, it is attracting some shady characters. So just be careful. Again, this is not something which is a question mark against the ability of the Selix platform in itself, but rather how the platform is being allowed to be used by, what you would consider as cyber criminals, dark web, software pirates, and so on, right? So, or could be crypto fraudsters, and there's going to be some challenges there as well. I'm not sure how they're going to handle some of the crypto frauds and things of that nature, and if that's probably a thing for the platform itself, like to handle, but anyway. That won't be a Selix issue, but it will attract certain type of crowd. That's what I feel. So with that, I think I've done enough talking. If you do buy it, regardless of that, and I saw some people who actually bought it, and they said like somebody, I think Raj had mentioned that he had used it 5 years ago and it was good. Probably it's a lot better today. But maybe they change their names or things like that, because on Crunchbase, the Selix platform shows that it's registered in 2020. I have I've noticed again there are a lot of shops selling illegal stuff on there. So just be careful and see if Selix is the right platform for you. With that, I think I'm also going to be going live tomorrow around 11:30ish with Vinith, who's the founder of Teleport Me. He wants to talk a little bit about his agency plans and how you could use Teleport Me to build a profitable virtual tour business. So I'm looking forward to that session. I've never had a live stream with Vinith, but I'm looking forward to it because I think Vinith does quite a few live streams as well himself. So that should be an interesting session. With that said, thank you very much for tuning in, and be very cognizant about what tools you use for your business. Do some due diligence and make sure that the platforms you select, they're going to be long lasting, they're legitimate, and will save you time rather than take the time away from business, right? So thank you very much for joining, and have a wonderful evening or night or a great day, depending on where you are. Thanks a lot, guys. And I will be live again tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. So thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Take on the world.